Hit record. Alright, so sad thing is still haven't figured out this camera 100%. Good camera, but still figuring it out. Alright, so in the center of every particle is a kind of singularity of its own. Okay, not proven and actually disproven, I think, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Is it part of the origin singularity, or is it a tiny singularity in a singularity? Maybe. Regardless of this, we know what we know. Some supposition, some conceptual speculation. It turns out that we are special in the universe, and we are all special in the universe. The likelihood there is another you in the universe is 0. The only place you'll find another another you, the only place you will find another you is in the past, present, and maybe the future. Although there is a buffer reality in V-space, virtual space, which is part of what we're talking about. Black holes, dualistic corpuscular time setter, and the dualistic corpuscular time setter is also a particle reunitizer reality maker. Okay. Though there is a buffer reality in V-space, how do you use that? How to use that will be of the work of future yous and me's. Although there are going to be infinite corpuscular times, and in that system other realities, but they still have a speed limit from within that point of view, just like ours. And that speed limit is just it's just a reunitized light, which means if the light's reunitized, it proportionately is going to be going at the same limit. It'll just be out of phase with this realm, and we've proven that because the black holes are not in phase with this reality, and that's why you can't see them. The only thing that does connect is the gravitational force is still there. Now, let's see, where did I leave off? Although there are going to be infinite corpuscular times in that system, other realities, but they still have a speed limit from within their point of view, just like ours. The only difference is comparison rates, and this is something we only have access through our own black hole. So this is the only direct perception we have of it. The superposition is a out of phase time frame and space-time, those two. That we know for sure. Maybe we can figure out the equilibrium time in V-space. Not sure what I meant by that. Let's see. And we know the rate here quite well. Yeah, there's a kind of complex reason why I said that. All the other black holes create other corpuscular times and more realities. I hope so far you see these things as conceptual. Okay. Let's see what I get to. Like I said, this is kind of, when I started this, it was actually because of JWST that I started studying a bunch of stuff again. And then I just thought I'd see what would happen. What conclusions could I draw? And I was kind of thinking, well, I'm not here to say that this doesn't work, this doesn't work, like a lot of people seem to do that. I was more like wanting to take what is there and proved and connect dots and make it and realize through the implying of all the work that's been done, what is really there. And I think this works very well for that. I'm very happy with this, and I hope it helps, I hope you come to the same conclusion. And whatever your science is, whatever your walk of life, anything that, especially if you're a scientist, or it would be interesting, because there's many different avenues of science, and it becomes kind of obvious once you conceptually understand the way things work, how to connect up and what is a better path than another one that may not lead to the same fruit, the fruition of something that's very useful. Inertia, this is interesting. Inertia is likely the temporary resistance from the energy within a mass, the massless particles. Actually, I don't know which is, I would say energy. So yeah, massless, but full of energy. So the energy particles trajectory is adjusted, or the adjustment of that and the mass particles. So here you have your mass, and there you have your energy, and when you change that trajectory by moving something, it's like moving a flywheel. You're actually changing the trajectory from that time frame that's offset from ours is not moving. It's like a snapshot or a resistance, that has to move when you move an object, and when it does, you get that moment of inertia. That's not gravity, by the way. It's the moment of inertia. So the moment of inertia is a trajectory change, and then as soon as you change it, it readjusts. And if you think about it, the original frame of reference is where it is, and then when you move it, it changes its frame of reference. And then the trajectory, the energy's trajectories have to change and adjust, and that's that moment of inertia. I think magnetic forces exist in virtual space of a black hole, but are cut off from detection outside, just like light. Okay, I'm just going to keep reading. But in the black hole, you have V everything, and in the space part, you have a reunitized space-time, like a skater with their arms pulled in that speed up their rotation. A simple analogy. I'd rather say the event horizon, light phases out of this space and reunitizes, but from light's point of view, nothing has changed. But from our point of view, a black hole or an incompatible space, light runs off the tracks into a different track, not detectable from here. Not real tracks, as space has nothing like, I said component, but actually it kind of does, but not like a literal track, but is one single particle. So from the point of view of the particle, let's see, it doesn't have a track in that case, but from the point of view of the space particle divided into little tiny Planck lengths, then that's trapped in the gravity well of the singularity. And I believe that the space particles divided up like that because of the energy particles that are divided up like that, and everything's just divided up like that. And that is, if you look at every point, that powerful singularity is crushing on that one single point. And because of that, if that was the way it was throughout, the black hole in our space would rip us apart in one spot, but it's not fixed to one spot, because it is from every point of view, at least at a Planck length, in every Planck length in the singularity, in the space particle, there's another particle which is just space divided, and that's actually a limited number. But if asked, crazy number, but limited in that corpuscular time set. except Planck's size. With I don't know why I've got jitter error correction. There was something. Okay. Space is endless, divisible, no beginning, no end. Space wraps itself around every particle in space. Hard for us to think of it this way, but from every particle's point of view, if it was traveling down a hall, it would always see where it is, and the hallway would wrap around the particle rather than the particle going down the hallway. The hallway goes around the particle whenever the particle moves in any direction. From this point of view, the sun really does and does not go around the Earth. The Earth with space wraps around what? Oh. The Earth within space. Okay, so basically the space. Okay, so like is the sun going around the Earth or the Earth going around the sun? It is ironic that there is a point of view where the Earth is the center still. And the funny thing is that that's because that's what they thought a long time ago, and it was wrong. But in a way, from a relativistic point of view, they were right to an ignorant right. Does an ignorant right make a right? Actually, not really, just an analogy. Okay, so the nothingness around our space. Let me see what this camera's doing here. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to keep going. It's been shutting off on me. Let's reset it. Nothing around our space. Let's see. The nothingness around our space doesn't exist, as our space has no edge. Also, like beyond space, is there like nothing? There's no walls, rather it is space that bends around us. So you can see that the debate about an open or closed universe is once you understand, it's a little bit different than it's likely more of an equilibrium situation if it's the rotation of a black hole that's perpetuating our universe. And because our space is created by a black hole that unitizes light and all particles to a different diameter, and thus designs a new corpuscular space-time relative to the previous one, and has new rate in comparison to the source space. But that's kind of irrelevant because they're separated by a line. The event horizon is almost a completely separating factor. Let's see. Each space has two parts, and that's what I was going to point out. The black hole part and the superposition time part, and our part, general relativity, time, space-time parts, quantum. I put quantum relativity, but and the reason why I put that is because that's space reunitized, and inside of quantum, the quantum realm, there is quantum relativity. It's just reunitized. And in each light notices no difference in traveling. So that's within each E equals mc squared. Albert strikes again from the grave in a way, although he did not enter the black hole. Let's enter it together. Black hole space has the smallest components, if not singularities, and near infinite energy pushing down on the broken down particles fight back with near infinite centrifugal force, thus reunitizing those particles' potentials. We never left the black hole. We are the white hole, but in a different way than is explained. The point of view of every particle in the universe is I am in the middle, and it makes so much sense that space bends around every particle. Now, if you realize that every particle is falling to the center, and you jump on the planet here, or you jump on the moon there, you know, it's still, you're actually being attracted to the center of this dualistic corpuscular time set, which is the black hole that we never left, and that's pretty cool. As if each particle in its own frame of reference. It is as if each particle is in its own frame of reference. And to add to that, this space, V space, is a buffer of sorts that can have V-bombs and a particle traveling back in time, or appear to be traveling back in time, and can set the V-bomb, the virtual bomb, off, but not be a permanence in our reality. But you can find out that it was going to, and then save a bomb that make it so it's not wasted. And this makes a lot of sense now, because all that's happening is that it's kind of like spokes in a wheel with a strobe light. As soon as you turn it on, it's going backwards, and that's exactly what's happening there. Conceptually, it's all about frames of reference, and that's the way they would look with two out of frame references going on. That's the way I look at it. This means that V-space with the V-bomb is much faster than our rate of space-time. This is because it is in superposition time. See next page. Let me see if my time's still going on here. Yeah, it is. That's the longest recording I got. I must have set the right thing on this camera. Alright. So, see next page. Oh yeah. We'll wait for that. Pseudo light speed interference pattern test needed. If I'm right, a pattern will emerge at pseudo light speed. You're rotating the laser around and shining. The whole test moves except for the wall, and then if you hit pseudo light speed, you should see another pattern on the wall. The bomb test. The detector or switch could be turned off and on. At some point should start working even though off. If you can switch it off and on fast, it's the idea of finding the frequency, the magic frequency. And it might not be possible because it might be too fast, or we'll just have to learn more. Set or block something using matter of some type. These tests are already proof, and the one that makes a temporary particle, I think it was in a real nice one was in Japan. They made a particle where the particles overlapped. A particle would pop into existence and then pop out of existence, and this is really easy to explain with this type of model, because for one, particle going back, the particle going forward, and when they overlap, you get a permanence for a little bit, because these systems are not set to be maintained in permanence, and if they were, then you'd get a permanent particle. Like, say for instance, if you have a wave function, when you measure, you get a permanent persistent particle, even though the wave function is kind of a particle also, but it's out of phase, and that's why it appears to be everywhere, when really, if you could be in phase, you'd see a trajectory of a particle traveling all those points, and then as soon as you measure, they would entangle, the frames of references entangle, and then you get a coincidence or cooperation between the frames. As soon as that happens, it would be a permanence, and a photon appears right there. So, yeah. See, and the one that shows instant correlation of spooky action at a distance is easily explained. So when you take two entangled particles, they're on the same frames of references, they're energized together, and they are entangled, literally. And that entanglement between the two particles is a trajectory. And while one, let's just say it like this, because I know it's angles and all kinds of stuff, but we're going to say when the one's going down, the other's going up. It's like a dance. And then it makes a lot of sense that you can, the space particle doesn't care where anything is. As far as it's concerned, they're still captured. So you could drag that thing all the way across the universe, and you're still going to have, it's not going to cost anything, because this space-time is the parallel, and the superposition is the serial, and it's going 90 degrees perpendicular to our space at any given moment, and I'll show that later on. At least that's what I think in this model, and that has to do with light, as you know, electromagnetic, right? And that's 90, it runs 90 degrees perpendicular, which is in complete agreement with this model. If one is measured, that frame is removed, the one that is left is opposite, always opposite in the frame, let's see, it's in phase only on the side going, if the other one was up, then this one's going down. Since the other one's missing, this one's always going to be going down on that frame of reference. So as soon as you measure that other one, it's going to be down, because that's where that frame of reference is accessible through this space-time. Oscillating up, down, but the other is always opposite. They are each in the middle of the space, and they are entangled in the V space connected to, anyway. So when you measure, then you find out something, a little something. Now, let's see what my time is. I'm still going. It records up to 30 minutes at a time. Okay, so on the other page, at the subject of, this means that V space with the V bomb is much faster than our rate of space. This is because it is in superposition time. See next page, and it says which is divided by a V particle traveling, which is decided by a V particle traveling between two frames of reference, and the deciding factor is the 25% of the bomb, 25% of the time V bomb goes off, but the last rotation finishes on the other frame of reference side, but the result never finalized the bomb in our reality, but in the other path, telling us the bomb is good. So basically, the situation was different in V space because there was no coincidence. The two didn't overlap correctly. That didn't become a persistence, and if it did, the bomb would have went off. And I can't remember if it's 20. I thought it was 25% discovers, and there's ways to improve the experiment. And so there's my little diagram there. Sloppy, but I was just writing it as a way to show. I guess let's see. Yeah, 12.5% of the bombs not detected still good, or something like that I heard. But nonetheless, you get, this will be drawn out in great detail, and it matches. There should be a superposition frequency that could make it so you could detect 100%. Well, I just know there's somebody who made it very up in the 90%. That's pretty cool. V photon. The wave is a wake of particle particles that is partially out of phase in our space. If it coincides with a p particle, it materializes and the photon has come to fruition. Each path is a different frame of reference. Entangled v photon, meaning in two frames at any time in v space, one frame or the other. In two frames in our space that are either stacked in v space, two space points referenced by one v photon in two stacked frames in v space creates a light wave, and the collapse of the wave is a collision, a mutual cooperation between v photon and p photon come into existence for certain conditions and have been met here. Yeah. V bomb is a virtual bomb in virtual space. So I drew a let's see, test runs backwards and runs. Anyway, I drew the bomb test, and let's see. Might be able to make a version that oscillates during the 25% needed detection time. If you could find out what the superposition time is, maybe, or maybe get yourself to sync up with it somehow with probably something with matter that is giving you access to what that frequency is. This could get started by a detector, then shift to a bomb. Either way it may work. Be able to tell us more about v-space and then use it with computers, because computers are already running in v-space. Design may have to change, but the bomb is a chemical reaction, and so the computer is an electrical reaction, which means parts we need are already in v-space, and they may be able to answer some questions kind of backwards from our point of view and a lot faster. Yeah, that's 2 minutes left or so. Anyway, overlap can create particles that we can use to control the test at superposition time. The test has 4 points of interest. The first splitter of light, okay, it's talking detailed about the bomb test. Nah, we'll skip that. Oh, more data. Oh, past that. Okay, we'll stop there. Alright.